All right. Shalom, Yasharala. Another beautiful
Shalom.
Wednesday. Another beautiful Wednesday. Brother Tajiyah Gabar was gracious today to help me out with this class. Hopefully, I have a lot of information. Y'all take notes. You have something to say, brother?
So I just want to say shalom. I mean, it's a blessing to be here. I thank the Most High for allowing me to be here with you today.
Fun.
Teach this class.
Fun. All praises to the Creator. And His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. We're gonna get into it, about voodoo, curious arts, and the different names that they all have. Hopefully, like I said, y'all take notes because I'm gonna bring out some history, bring out some things that people don't know, and hopefully y'all learn a lot tonight. All right. So let's start. Can you go to Acts chapter 19, verse 13?
1913.
Yeah, because a lot of our people like the New Testament. They don't go into the Old Testament. So I would like to start there for them to understand um, in this verse what is being spoken about and what is being said and where that was being said and what was going on in that particular time. Go ahead.
This book of Acts, chapter 19, verse 13. Is
Mm-hmm.
certain of the vagabond Jews.
Vagabond who?
Vagabond Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Exorcists.
Uh-huh.
Took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord Jesus, saying,
Mm-hmm.
We adjure you by Jesus whom Paul preacheth.
Keep going.
Verse 14. And there were 7 sons of one Sekva, a Jew,
Mm-hmm.
and chief of the priests, which did so.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And the evil spirit answered and said, Jesus I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye?
See that? So he was trying to exorcise this demon out of this man. And this demon said, the spirit said, Yahushua I know. Paul I know. But who are you? I don't know you. Right? Keep going.
And the man in whom the evil spirit had was sluck. And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of that house naked and wounded.
Naked and wounded, no boxes. They was probably touching horses and carts and all that. They was just bugging out, right? Because the spirit didn't know who they was, and they was trying to act like they were exorcists using what? Let's keep going.
And this was known to all the Jews and Greeks also dwelling at Ephesus.
Ephesus. Get going.
And fear fell on all them, and fear fell on them all, and the name of the Lord Yahushua was magnified.
Was magnified. Keep going. One more, two more.
And many that believed came and confessed and showed their deeds.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them also, which used curious arts, brought their books together and burned them before all men. And they counted the price of them and found it 50,000 pieces of silver.
50,000 pieces of silver. Now they were burning books that was talking about how to use voodoo and different tools and statues and different things to exorcise demons. But as we saw before, they couldn't exorcise the demon. But through Yahushua, the demon left, right? And because they saw that, they're like, yo, nah, they became believers and they burned their books. And we saw the price of those books as 50,000 pieces of silver, right? Now, this is a moment where Paul was going through Ephesus, right? Now, in Ephesus, Ephesus was what? I'm reading from New Testament in Antiquity, right? And it reads, Ephesus was a free city, not a Roman colony like Philippi or Corinth, right? And in that city, what were they doing? They were worshiping Artemis and Diana. They were worshiping other gods. They were delving in things that they weren't supposed to. And Artemis and Diana were worshipped in the same temple, like by the Greeks and by the Romans, right? And they were worshiping those two so-called gods in the temple of Diana. And they were sacrificing. And it was so bad that in Ephesus and in the temple of Diana, it was considered one of the 7 wonders of an ancient world. So you can imagine that everybody was of different races was going there and going to the temple and making sacrifices and doing things that was against the Lord. Against everything that the Lord taught us in the Old Testament. Now, this is another excerpt from the same book. It reads, magic was such a dominant feature of life in Ephesus that many magical incantations were known as Ephesian letters, right? The potency of magic spells was bound up with their secrecy. To reveal the secret was to render the spell powerless. The scene in Acts 19:18 to 19 is not only one of repentance, but of destroying the power of magic. The book burning is a clear sign that the believers had renounced their former life. Burning books to control the ideas was known in antiquity. But this action in Acts, it was voluntary. They did it because they want to do it, because they saw the greatness of the Most High in Yahushua, and they burned those books to show that their belief, and they were changing their lives to follow the Most High and Yahushua through Paul, right? Now, Ephesus was allowed to run as his own city that was still under Roman rule, but they had their own coins, they had their own councils, and their own, I would say, so-called government, right? But it was a major city like today, New York, Chicago, or California, right? There was a major place where people would just come in and do all types of things. And like I said, the Temple of Diana was considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. And in the city of Ephesus, they had the great theater. They had many Christians that the concept of Christianity. We all know what that is. So people were going in there, and many different beliefs was mixing together, which is called syncretism, right? People were trying to blend all these different beliefs, and they created books for magic arts, right? So now, can you go to Exodus chapter 4, verse 1? Because we're going to go back into the Old Testament, and we're going to see certain events that seem like magic, but these things were ordained by the Most High and were given to Moses and Aaron to do. Go ahead. Verse 1 to verse 4.
This book of Exodus, chapter 4, verse 1. Mm-hmm. And Moses answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice.
Mm-hmm.
For they will say, the Lord have not appeared unto thee. And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent.
It became what?
And it became a serpent.
It became a serpent. Right? Keep going.
Moses fled from before it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand.
Became a rod in his hand. So now, is that what that could be considered magic or curious arts? Compared to Ephesus, it's not the same. The Most High gave Moses that gift. Yo, do this. Right? Now he showed him before he went to Pharaoh. For him to have the confidence to go see Pharaoh. Right? Now go to Exodus chapter 7, verse 8 to verse 12.
Exodus chapter 7, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, then shalt thou say unto Aaron, take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent.
It shall become a serpent. Go ahead.
And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And
Mm-hmm.
Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh, and it became his serpent, and before his servants, and it became a serpent.
So Pharaoh has his own people that was doing curious arts, but on the left-hand side. Right? Now, Moses, he was working with the Lord in righteousness on the right-hand side, doing doing what the Most High commanded him to do. Keep going.
Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
They also did in like manner with their enchantments.
Keep going.
For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord has said.
Hearken not unto them, as the Lord has said. So that means that the serpent that Moses dropped on the ground was swallowing all these other snakes, just taking them out one by one. Now, would that be considered evil or good? It is good because the Most High asked Aaron to do it through Moses, right? But now, in the scriptures, we also have the Most High in Exodus chapter 28, right? Start at verse 1, right? Exodus chapter 28, verse 1. Now, I'm not going to read many, but let me see. Chapter 28.
Exodus chapter 28, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. Even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons.
Aaron's sons. Now, if we keep reading, right, we find out that the Most High ordered the ephod to be made. He ordered the breastplate to be made, and the 12 stones that represent the 12 tribes of Israel, each one of them. And the Most High commanded the priests to wear that, the chief priest to wear that, just to be able to go see him in the Holy of Holies, right? But also, there's one more item the Most High demanded. Read verse 30.
Verse 30. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim.
The Urim and the Thummim, the breastplate of judgment, right? And why did he Most High demanded that? Go ahead.
And they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goeth in before the Lord. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually.
Before the Lord continually. These are items that was created so that on the right hand side and the righteous side, Aaron could go before the Lord and not only hear judgment of what to be done, but judgments on sins that Israel was committing, things that had to be done, and orders that Most High was given. Right? And these are all items that help our people. But I'm going to bring out later on how through syncretism, or I would say another word to explain that is through the invasion of the so-called white man in our nation, Roman Catholicism came in and changed much of the of what the Most High commanded us to do into voodoo, right? Obeah, Candomble, Santeria, and all these different things. But all these different arts, shall we say, for lack of a better word, have a connection to each other that I'm going to show y'all, right? Now go to 1 Samuel chapter 28, verse 6. Because the Urim is an item that is very important. We see it in Exodus. We see it in Ezra also. We see it in 1 Samuel, right? And we're going to see also how our own people violated the Most High commandment and did things that were not supposed to do. Go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 28, verse 6. And when Saul inquired of the Lord, and the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets.
Nor by prophets. Now, what's going on here is the fact that Israel was at war with the Philistines. And Saul was trying to get judgment, in this case, trying to ask the Most High what was going to happen in the war to be able to, if they was going to win or lose, right? Salak, Lord, I'm just sowing the zone. Do you have something to bring out? You have something to bring out, Lord? I'm sowing the zone. That's why.
No. Go ahead, Lord. You in the spirit. Go ahead.
Good. So they was going to war with the Philistines. And because of that, he was trying to inquire of the Lord what would happen during this war if they was going to win or lose, right? Now keep going, verse 7 and 8.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 28, verse 7. Then said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit.
Of a what?
Seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit.
A familiar spirit. Now remember this, because we're going to visit this when we're going to talk about voodoo, right? We're going to visit this because voodoo is with the Levites and different tribes that was in West Africa before. Keep going.
That I may go to her and inquire of her.
Mm-hmm.
And his servant said unto him, behold, there is a woman that hath a familiar spirit at Endor.
Endor. Keep going.
And Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment. And he went, and two men with him, and they came to the woman by night.
By night. That means, go ahead.
And he came to the woman by night, and he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit.
Who's this familiar spirit? It's talking about Samuel. He was trying to raise Samuel again to be able to get understanding of what was going on, or get a a prophecy of what was going to happen in this war versus the Philistines. Keep going.
And bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee.
Mm-hmm.
And a woman said unto him, Behold, thou knowest what Saul hath done, how he hath cut off those that have familiar spirits, and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life, to cause me to die?
It caused me to die because she didn't recognize it was Saul. He was still disguised. So he's saying, yo, you trying to get me killed? Yo, Saul outlawed all witchcraft, all familiar spirits, and all those stuff. Why are you trying to get me killed? Keep going.
And Saul sware to her by the Lord, saying, As the Lord liveth, there shall no punishment happen to thee for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then said the woman, Whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, Bring me up Samuel.
Bring me up Samuel. So now, right? We have to see. Can you give me Ecclesiastes 1 and 9?
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, 1 and 9.
You said Ecclesiastes or Ecclesiasticus?
Ecclesiastes. Because you have to see, like, people think that dabbling in familiar spirits was done only in the past. It's done today. It's done in California. It's done in many places in the world. It's not just in the Old Testament or New Testament. Go ahead.
This book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be.
Mm-hmm.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
There's no new thing under the sun. There's nothing new. It was done in the past. It was done in New Testament. Old Testament is still being done today. Right? Get something to bring out? I don't want to leave you out, Lord.
Nah, somebody got a question though.
Go ahead. Rama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. So Artemis, because we have to understand, Artemis and Diana are so-called two different beings. I don't want to give him a lot of praise here because they're nothing but statues and have no bearing on our lives. But Artemis was worshipped by the Greeks and Diana was worshipped by the Romans, right? But in entity, they both are the same thing because it was worshipped in the same temple in Ephesus. Everybody was coming there, and like we said before, many people was coming into Ephesus, Christians, lovers of Artemis, Diana, and it was going into that temple and it was making sacrifices. It's just to them in that city, they said, why would we build two different temples for this so-called same God? You know what I'm saying? So it was like, nah, we're gonna build one temple for both. And if you do your research, you'll see that in the city of Ephesus, on the coins, so like on the coins, right? You could see the temple and an image of that temple and the statue in the middle that represented either Artemis or Diana, depending on who held that coin. So they didn't care who was worshiping what. The fact was, we're not going to build two temples for two different people or two different statues. We're just going to build one, and y'all decide whoever it is y'all want to worship. It didn't matter to them. You got something to bring out? Don't.
Nah.
Say what you got to say, Lord. Go ahead, jump in.
No. I'm here, Lord. I'm reading today, Lord. I'm reading.
All right, so go now. We're gonna see how Levi and Simeon got into those instruments of cruelty. Right? Go to Genesis 34, verse 1. We're gonna jump a bit, but Genesis chapter 34, verse 1 to 6 first.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 34, verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
Mm-hmm.
And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her.
See that? So this was Dinah. She one of the daughters of Jacob, Israel. There's Hivite, which is, unless I'm mistaken, that's a y'all. Hivites are Africans, right?
Con.
So he took her, basically abducted her, kidnapped her, and lay with her by force, right? Keep going. Raped her, yeah, raped. Keep going.
And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel.
Mm-hmm.
And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come.
See that? So Jacob was like, "Yo, he raped my daughter," and it was in front of him. It's like, but all his sons was in the field. So he was like, "Nah, let me wait till my sons come back. I'm outnumbered right now." Right? Keep going.
And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him.
To commune with him, right? To try to say, "Yo, hey, I know my son loves your daughter. I want them to marry." All that good stuff, right? Verse 13. Start at verse 13 to 15.
Yeah, he was basically Slot. He was basically like saying, like, look, man, I know my son raped your daughter, but he loves her.
Yeah.
Like, let my daughter, let my son marry your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could take this, this, bridal money. You know,
Mm-hmm.
take this and let that be that.
Yeah, he's trying to ingratiate himself, trying to make it amenable, peaceable.
Yeah, and brush off the whole rape. Like,
yeah, he's just trying to wash it off. Like, nah, she's defiled. All respect due to Dinah, our sister in Israel, but he defiled her, right? Verse 13.
this book of Genesis, chapter 34, verse 13. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that we were a reproach. For that, Salah, for that were a reproach unto us.
Yeah, you uncircumcised, meaning you not only are you uncircumcised in the flesh, but you're not one of us. You're not Israel. That's just plain wrong. Keep going. Okay.
But in this we will consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Okay.
we will give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us.
Okay.
And we will dwell with you,
Mm-hmm.
and we will become one people.
So he's saying, yo, do this, and we become one people, right? Verse 25 to 31.
Verse 25. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males.
They slew every single one. Because for lack of a better word, when you get circumcision, you you can't really do sports. You can't really move here. Like you're in pain, right? You have to let you know that member heal, right? Keep going.
Yeah, that's why it's better to get it done when you're a child, like a baby.
Kun in the book in the Salah, in the law, when the baby is born, a son of the Most High, it's supposed to be done 8 days after his birth.
Huh. So you can imagine the type of pain they was going through as an adult. Like, you know what I mean?
Kun, and
Think about it.
people might ask why 8 days. Most High made it 8 days, and when you look at it scientifically, on the eighth day, the vitamin K inside the body of that son of the Most High rises to a high level, so that when the circumcision happens, it will heal faster, right? But they passed it. They passed that date, way past that date, so they couldn't move. Keep going.
Verse 26. And they slew Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister.
Now we see here the value of the daughters of Israel, the value of the daughters of the Most High, right? So we could understand to a certain extent why Simeon and Levi did what they did. But now let's see what Jacob says, right? Go ahead.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
All right, verse 28. They took their sheep and their oxen and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field,
Mm-hmm.
and all their wealth, and all their little ones,
Mm-hmm.
and their wives took they captive, and even spoiled even all that was in the house.
This was basically compound interest for what they did to Dinah. They killed everybody, but we're going to take everything too. Livestock, children, everything. Right? Go ahead.
And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites.
Mm-hmm.
And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me.
Mm-hmm.
And I shall be destroyed, and I and my house.
One more.
And they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot?
See that? As with all it. Yo, he should be allowed to do this and live and be lavish? Nah, brother's like, nah. We can't allow that. And so, and it was, I can understand it. It was right. But there was a consequence to that, right? You got something to bring out, Lord?
Nah, keep going, Lord.
Give me Genesis 49:5. There was a consequence to this. Yes, that was right, but they took vengeance in their own hands. They didn't wait till the Most High did what he had to do. But then again, the Most High allowed this massacre to happen. So, go ahead.
This book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their hands. Salak, in their habitations.
So now, instruments of cruelty. Now we know that the Bible is a spiritual book. It's a spiritual book, so it's not talking about instruments like bombs and grenades and guns. which, yeah, they're instruments of cruelty, and knives too. They're all instruments of cruelty. But we're talking about spiritual weapons that are being used against each other in the same island, and that's the island of Hispaniola, right? But we have to go back in history to see how those instruments of cruelty progressed to the point where Levites and Simeonites came on the same island, and we killing each other. We're killing each other with what? With voodoo, with Santeria, and in other islands like Brazil, they have Candomble, right? And the other areas they have Obeah, which is another form of voodoo, right? But now, where can we find voodoo before they came to the island of Hispaniola? And this is history, right? Give me Deuteronomy 28:68. We got to remind our people that these weapons of cruelty in Hispaniola, Haiti, and Santo Domingo did not just appear out of nowhere.
You said Deuteronomy 28 what?
68.
Come on, one. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. That means that we came from West Africa on boats. Keep going.
By way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
We won't see our homeland again. Now, our homeland was not in West Africa. It was in Israel, which is the mother of us all, which is Galatians chapter 4, verse 26, right? It's the mother of us all. But we were pushed out by the Romans, and we had to go to West Africa to blend with the people that was there. Now, nobody could make me believe that the people of God, the Jews, are white, because they couldn't blend in West Africa. So now we eliminate that principle right then and there. Because if you're a white man, you escaping Israel, you're not going to go to Africa. You're going to go to Europe. You're going to go to the Caucasus Mountains. You're going to dig a hole in the wall. You're going to go Mount Seir. You're not going to go to West Africa. Let's eliminate that right now. That's crazy notion, right? But now, once we was in West Africa, a lot of the ships pertaining to Levi and Simeon came out of the country of Benin. Benin, if you look at an old map of Benin, one of the cities is called Ouida, which is the strange sound at the same sound as Judah, which is not an accident. Evidence is there. All you have to do is look and do research in the Bible and just a little bit of digging, and you'll see that these people can't be white. It's impossible. Judah is in Israel, but you find the same name differently spelled in Benin and different places in West Africa. Why is that? Because the people escaped Israel to go to West Africa to blend with the Africans, to be able to escape and make trade and live, right? But the people that live in Benin, they have different names. We have the Aja, and we have the Aja tribe, and we have the Fon tribe, F-O-N, Fon tribe. And they had different relics to dance to the Most High, different relics. They had, what's it called? Drums. All those things that they brought from Israel since time memorial, they brought it over there. And it was doing those things. Now, can anybody tell me you could see a white man dance with drums and making Negro spirituals? I can't see it. Can you see it, Lord? Can you see a white man dancing, beating drums under the sun?
No.
You can't see it. But people be thinking that. Yeah, people stay outside thinking, oh, the Jewish man is a true Jew. But he can't even bear the sun for too long. That's why they be wearing hats out here in New York. wearing hats and long beards, and those beards, you would put a fire to them, they'll burst into flames. Whereas the people of God, we got woolly hair, just like Yahweh Shah. Our hair is so beautiful, you fall into fire, it will not catch fire immediately. But people believe that these people are the people of God. No, come on now. Get something to bring out, Lord?
No,
I
I was
want
just
you.
gonna say when you was just talking about the drums, right? It
Yeah.
just had me thinking about that one time we was at the park. We just went to the park. I think it was for a new moon.
Mhm.
We was just chilling at the park. We was cooking out, but it was also some like some brothers in the park, and they was just in there all day. They was
Yeah.
just playing the drums
Con.
like all day, all night,
Yeah,
just
con.
going like, and they
Yeah.
had the park lit, just playing the drums,
Playing the
yo.
drums. And it was sitting on benches. I remember, and there was boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom, and there was even one of her sisters that was dancing with a dress on. She was doing her thing, and it
yeah.
was like,
I think they was Benjamin. I'm not sure, but I think it was Benjamin.
hey, they are people, Lord.
Yeah,
So
done.
the fun, right? The fun, which is the majority of Benin, they, the French came, the Portuguese, the Spanish, and they started to, incorporate their own religion, which is the French. They do Roman Catholicism. The Spanish, they do um,
Roman Catholicism, Catholicism, on the and you said the Spanish, right?
the French, the Portuguese, and the Spanish. And the Spanish. They came into Benin and they started to incorporate their own beliefs into what our people were doing to please the Most High. Well,
Yeah,
our people how our people were worshiping the Most High with drums, music, relics, and different things that we had, and they started to pervert what we were doing. Because what would be considered voodoo in the scriptures would be, let's say, Aaron, when he was being consecrated by the Most High to become a priest. They told him to put blood on his ear, on his thumb, right, and on his big toe of his foot. But people would say, "Isn't that voodoo? Isn't that mysticism?" But the Most High ordered it. He wanted it this way to be done. That's not voodoo. That's a commandment to me. That's Most High made an order. Like, bet I'm doing it. I'm not saying no. Especially if he's gonna give you um, beautiful raiment to put on a mitri, the ephod, all of the and thummim, all of that, right?
and like with Aaron and Moses, he was doing that to show his power. You know what I mean?
Good.
Just a little bit. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of power. Just, I mean, something simple. You know what I mean? I'm gonna turn this stick into a snake.
Good.
I mean, something simple. You know what I mean? I'm gonna turn your hand. I'm gonna take all the melanin out your hand as soon as you put your hand inside your shirt.
Good.
You know what I mean? Something simple. I'm gonna just show you real quick how strong I am, how powerful I am. You know what I
And
mean?
even in the New Testament, the Most High said, "Don't swear by His name because you can't change your hair white and back to black," which means that it is possible to do. It's just you can't swear by His name to do certain things. But He's telling you, even Yahusha told us what He shall do these things and greater things than these.
Yeah, done.
So what we think is voodoo or curious arts or magic to the Most High is it's normal thing. It's a normal thing. You should be doing it. That's why the Most High calls us what? The children of Israel. That means we're not there yet. We're not there yet to the point where we do like Paul or Peter, be walking around and just healing people. Bang, 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 bang. We see it in movies, where a black woman goes into the operating room and she just saying a few words, bang, that person comes back to life. We see it in movies. We think it's superstition or it's supernatural. But the Most High is like, and Yahushua are like, no, it's not supernatural. You got this. Just you have to pray, 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 study, 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 and be in the zone where you're gonna be able to do it, and it's not gonna be an amazing thing to you. Even Paul said this. Why are you amazed at this? Like this is nothing. This is light work. No, and this is push-ups. You know what I'm saying? But now we're gonna go. I'm gonna start talking about voodoo, right? So voodoo or voodoo. A lot of people use different term, but it encompasses the same thing. Teaches that they believe in the Most High, but they call the Most High in Creole Bon Dieu, right? Most High, Bon Dieu, right? But they don't pray to the Most High directly. They pray to what they call loa or familiars, meaning they pray to ancestors or people that are dead. And that's the problem with this. Because in Roman Catholicism, what do people do? They go to the church and they light a candle and they pray to Saint so-and-so, Saint so-and-so. And you could see the correlation here where Roman Catholicism has infiltrated this belief and told these people to pray to familiars. Don't pray to the Most High. And we could see that correlation in the Brazilian version, in the Santeria version, right? And also in the Obeah version. People know, y'all heard the word Obeah, but y'all probably don't remember. The first time I heard that word was in the movie James Bond, where they were James Bond was dealing with this woman that lived on an island in a house. The guy on the boat says, no, James Bond said that was the one with Roger Moore. I don't remember the name, but he said, "Yo, who lives in the house over there?" He said, "Yeah, that's the old woman, the Obeah. Yo, she does prophecies and reads cards and all these things." But it wasn't white women that was doing this. It was our people that was doing this. They were using herbs, using prayers, incantations, praying to familiars, bringing like they would have ceremonies where they would wear all white and a few colors, and they would dance to spirituals, beat drums, and they would basically try to have a familiar spirit or loi, right, come into their bodies to be able to do prophecies. But in the scriptures, I believe it was Apostle Peter. He was doing what? He was praying and meditating on the Lord's day on the roof of his house. And the Spirit came onto him and he saw a vision. But now, is that so-called loi or familiar? Or is that the Spirit of the Lord that came onto him and make him see a vision? And that's the disconnect that people that do voodoo don't understand. They're praying to a familiar spirit or trying to raise a spirit to come into their bodies when you're supposed to pray directly to the source rather than pray to a person that is dead. Which is why Yahushua say, let the dead bury who? The dead. Once they're dead, leave them alone. Don't go into that. You got something to bring out, Lord?
That's also like when John, when he was in the spirit on the Lord's Day on the island of Patmos, you know what I'm saying? Yahushua revealed himself unto him. I mean, was that magic? Nah.
No.
Some might say, but was it so-called good magic or bad magic?
But that's also why the scriptures and the Most High Father tells us what? Study to show thyself approved. Because if you look at voodoo, they do sacrifices. They bring fruit, liquor. They bring animals to sacrifice, but they sacrifice to the wrong person. They sacrifices to familiars or people that are dead that they're trying to. They want to have those spirits come into their bodies, rather than sacrifice directly to the Most High, to the Father. And that's why these are instruments of cruelty, not only to our brethren across the way, the Simeonites, or if you're a Simeonite that is doing Santeria, you're doing the same instruments of cruelty towards the Levites on the same island. And like the top, I would say the top 10% in Haiti that are so-called intellectuals, they don't practice it. But a lot of the people on the island, in the country of Haiti, that is shared with the people at Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, and my brothers, 90% of them practice voodoo or Santeria. And in doing so, they're trying to kill each other through these instruments. Now, I'm just going to recap. So, Abu Kashaf, please take notes. Voodoo is about believing in the supreme God, Most High Yahweh, right? But they call him Bon Dieu, right? The Creator. He's the universe. He maintains universal order, and he's the ultimate source of power. That's what they believe, but they don't pray to him. They pray to familiars, and by doing so, they allow the Roman Catholicism to come in and have the people do the same thing that these white people do. Light a candle, and we can see that with the Dominicans. What do? They buy in the stores. They do what, Tessa, y'all? They buy this candle with this white Jesus on it. White Jesus on it. And then they go home and they do the whole rigmarole with Santeria.
Put the candle in a bowl with water. Yeah.
It's not by accident. That's why the Most High said, "What we are backsliding children." Not only in the physical, but in the spiritual, because we went from being the greatest nation on the face of the earth, and we took what the Most High gave us, and then we allowed other nations to come in, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, to come and mess with what we had.
Yeah, kind. Yeah, and speaking with that, right? Let me add that it was in the year 1451 that Pope Saint Nicholas V, right? You know, the one that they made the whole Santa Claus thing out of. But Pope Saint Nicholas V, he went and got the papal bull decree signed by, I believe it was the King of Portugal at the time, stating anyone who wasn't Christian was deemed worthy to go into slavery. So then in the year 1455 was like the first slaves they took from West Africa and brought them to Portugal.
To Portugal. Imagine.
And then, you know.
Go ahead.
But it just goes to show that goes in the time what you was talking about, but like it wasn't just like from Deuteronomy 28, like we backslid because, you know, not only was we following the religions and stuff of the land at the time, I mean, like Islam, because our people started following Islam while we was living in Africa, but we was also getting into voodoo and
the left hand version.
I mean, we was getting into I don't want to say voodoo or Santeria. We was getting into familiar spirits and a lot of wickedness. Through these familiar spirits.
And keep in mind, like I'm saying, like Haiti and Dominican Republic practice, but Brazil do their own version. And even before that, we had the Igbo that practiced voodoo. We had the Yoruba that practiced voodoo, and the Fon and other tribes that was practicing it.
It's a lot. Every every tribe in the Northern Kingdom practice voodoo, some form. As a matter of fact, a lot of Benjamites practice it too, man. Like
Good,
for real.
good. But a lot of people like they have their own version. Rastafari,
Yeah.
Obeah, Kandule, uh, and keep in mind, Obeah. There's different wordings for it, right? Because Obeah, and I'll bring that in a part two. But Obeah,
But
what they
but you know what? All the tribes you could say mess with some form of witchcraft because Christianity is witchcraft.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Uh, I mean, and Judah is deep into Christianity, so you know what I mean.
keep in
Like,
mind. So, go ahead. I don't want to
well,
cut
I
you
was
off.
just trying to say, like, every tribe is into some type of form of witchcraft, some looking at or dealing with some type of familiar spirit at some point. I mean, it wasn't just one tribe; it was all the tribes.
All the
It's
tribes.
just that some tribes do it a little more than others.
Yeah, because in part two, hopefully, most high willing, I will show you about the Obeah. And if you search Obeah and the different spellings, you'll be amazed that Obeah is spelled sometimes Obiya, Obi, and sometimes it's even talked about in the same sentence as Obi-Wan. You see? And then you have also obey, Obey. Now, I know many of you know about fashion, Supreme, and all those brands. Y'all seen people wearing Obey on their shirt or on their hat. That's not by accident. They're doing witchcraft on a low level by using certain words and for you to see them and be be led astray day by day. Oh, I be put Obey on my shirt and get this man into doing certain things and moving a certain way so I could catch him later on with in slavery or putting them to death or doing whatever or even organ harvesting. Yo, we have to understand this world is wicked, wicked, right? But now, what I want to also bring out is that from our point of view, Loa is familiar spirits. But I want y'all to know to them, right? To them, Loa, what it means. It means spirits, so-called gods, small g, right? Meaning those familiars of people that died, right? It also means God's intermediaries, right? But again, why would you go through an intermediate middleman to speak to the Father? Unless it's angels. But angels and familiars are not the same. They're not the same, right? But they use those familiar spirits to be taken over, right? And to provide protection to somebody else or counsel or help in some type of way. That's what they believe that practice voodoo, right? Now, I've been in situations where in my childhood, my mother was dealing and dabbling in those things. And it created a conflict between me and my mother because I did not know the scriptures as I do now and hopefully continue to learn. But it came to a point where she would give me like a piece of paper, a whole sheet, and I had to wake up in the morning and read what was on it. And sometimes I would read what was on it and I would get dizzy. I was I would be like, yo, what am I reading? Right? And at one point, it got to a point where it came to be a conflict because I knew the scriptures. It's a lot. Now I didn't know the scripture. I knew Exodus 20, right? And it said, honor thy mother and thy father. But then you asking me to do some wickedness on the left hand side, like, and I'm like, one morning I woke up and I'm like, nah, I can't do this no more. Like I had a conflict within me. I'm like, I can't do this, man. I can't do this. And one day I said to my mother, I'm done. I'm done. She said, "Oh, you're gonna die." Nah, nah, nah. Then I'll die. It is what it is. I'm not doing this no more. I had enough. Like I don't like the way this whole voodoo thing makes me feel. Like I feel out of place, off my axis, off my center. I'm done. And after I refused, a couple of months or years later, I even blocked it out of my mind. My mother was taken away from this world. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When that happened, I was angry. I was angry at the Most High. Like, yo, you Most High, you hurt me bad. Yo, I didn't at the time. I didn't understand why. It was like, in my mind, I was like 15. I was like, yo, you could have stopped her. You could have like convinced her to do certain things, or yo, maybe take out her arm or something. Like, Most High, you powerful. Why would you take her out? But now, as I went through life, I read scriptures. I was like, man, nah, my mother was off. She was doing some crazy stuff, and I had to make peace with it. I was like, okay, Lord, you in command, so I can't. It is what it is. So it's it was a weird dynamic for a minute. It was a weird dynamic because it made me feel like I was, at that particular time, my parents were separated. I felt alone. Imagine you taking care of your mother and she's sick, and she was sick for a prolonged length of time. And I was taking care of her, making sure she was fine, making sure she had everything she needed. But at some point, Most High said, nope. So Most High basically gave her a probation period to quit all that stuff, but she did not. She kept doing it and going to see people. She even had me stand on a book that would be, I would say, twice as thick as this book, trying to get me to do certain things. I was like, oh man, Most High, why am I doing this? And after that, Most High just said, nah, I'm done. Enough. So Most High is gracious, but up to a certain point. Con.
You know, the Most High have mercy on who you gonna have mercy.
Con.
You know, so
What else can we do?
I mean, but you see it, like, I don't know if you ever lived in like the projects or anything, but you ever walk past somebody's door and you see like a string tied on their doorknob?
A what? Sorry, Salat.
Like a string tied around their doorknob.
Oh, nah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, like I used to always wonder about that, and then somebody told me that's because like the people that live there, they be like into Santeria, so like they do that because they trying to keep a certain person out their house.
It's like also Levi. They like to put goofer dust on the door sill. Apparently, when they put goofer dust on the door sill for their business, if
Say it
they
again. Say it
goofer
again.
dust, goofer dust,
Goof
goofer,
dust.
goofer,
Goof.
yeah, goofer dust,
Goof dust.
yeah,
All right.
goofer dust. They put it on their door sill and for their business, and basically, when people open the door, the goofer dust would fall on their head, and they would be They would be so-called spiritually incentivized to come back.
Wow.
So it's a lot of people like they do things, and you wonder, wow, like why would you do that? Like, why would you not pray to the Most High, put you in position? But they rather dabble with things that have no business dabbling in to get an advantage.
But you gotta also remember that a lot of our people also consider Caesar Borgia Yahweh Shah. You know what I'm saying? So they in Catholicism, that's witchcraft in itself. You
Mm.
know? So it's like a double whammy of witchcraft. You know what I mean? In a way. Like, so in their mind, they probably thinking their witchcraft is right because of who they praying to. You know what I'm saying?
Huh. It's it's amazing. But in the second class, I'm going to bring out Candomble, which is the Brazilian version, Santeria, which is the Dominican version.
Well, it's a lot. It's really like the Hispanic version, like
Yeah.
a lot of the even Ephraim deal with Santeria.
Hmm. Because they have the same concept as voodoo because instead of what in Haitian they call loa or familiars,
Uh-huh.
in those they call them orixes,
Uh,
which is the same thing. So we see the correlation of our people and the connection to how we worship the Lord in error. We could see that. Yeah, bruja. That means it means witch. That's a witch. And I've in my life I've dealt with not by my choice, but I've seen things be done in front of me that was on the left hand side, and I did not like what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Like like I've met people that would
Ouija.
that would Ouija boards. Yeah, Ouija boards. Yep. I met people that would ask you to like sit down on a mat, a straw mat, and next thing you know, in less than 15 minutes, you fall asleep.
Mm.
And they would literally tell you you're gonna fall asleep. You're like, nah. You ain't eat nothing. It's early in the morning. You ain't gonna sleep, right? Nah, bomb. You're going. You're asleep. So in the scriptures, we see many instances where um, the Most High gave us advice. Like in the scriptures, it tells you that be not a striker of hands, meaning you don't shake hands with people that is not your people, that is not Israel. You don't know what they have in their hand, what they trying to put on you.
Yeah, con. That's like that Denzel movie. I forget the name of it, but like every time like they would shake hands, like the spirit would just go from the energy, like it would go from one person to the
Oh
next.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was an evil spirit that was going from person to person and killing people, and he was trying to hunt it down.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
that. I don't remember the
I think
name,
they
but
had
I remember.
tried to trap her in a glass or something like that.
Yeah, Kun, like Kun says, there are people. There are people that sleep paralysis. Anybody been in the chat? Anybody been in sleep paralysis? Where I explain sleep paralysis is when you sleep, your mind is awake. You want to get up, you want to wake up, but you can't. You feel something on your chest holding you down, and you can't wake up. You can't even speak or scream. That's
Con.
what sleep paralysis is. If you ever had that happen to you, you know from that moment on, you know that there's spirit world. You know, no way. Like, you can't
Yeah,
tell me to do that, and you ain't come out of it and be like, nah, yo. That for me at least, it happened to me once, and in my head, I was screaming the name of the Lord, like Most High, please, get me out, yo. And my sister was sitting opposite me on the bed, and she could. I told her, you didn't see me trying to struggle to get up. Nope. I couldn't even
yeah.
scream. I didn't see that. I just saw you sleeping. What? Yo, I said,
Yeah,
nah,
Lord, that's real scary. Like, and the only way you could get out of that is by praying to the Most High.
Kun. That's the only way because who else is gonna hear you? Like, and that's what brothers Sean Nathaniel on the Shabbat class, he tells people a lot of the time. He tells us that sleep is a form of death. And that's why in the scriptures it tells you that tomorrow is promised to anyone, and also that um, let tomorrow take care of itself. That's what Yahushua said. You do worry about tomorrow, yo, worry about today, right now, at this very moment. Live in the moment right now. You think about tomorrow, you might not even make it tomorrow. And that sleep paralysis, man, that is real. That is real. You feel something, just you're like, nah, you ain't getting up, brother. You stay here for a minute. If the Most High decide for you to get up, then I'll get off. But for now, you ain't moving. And you're like, you're trying to speak and nothing is coming out. And you like, Most High, please, please. You wake up like, oh wow. Oh hell no. What just happened?
Or like you just scream out of nowhere, everybody looking at you crazy, like you like, yo, man, I couldn't speak.
You couldn't?
Like it's just like, oh, what's wrong with you? You all right, man?
You cool?
And yeah, like, you know what I mean? They looking at you like crazy.
And but for now, I'm gonna end it with this. I don't want to give y'all too much. I want to get some more information on the other so-called voodoo disciplines from different countries in the next class. Hopefully, Brother Taj will be able to be there also to help me out with the reading and all that. But for today, I love y'all. Deal with the scriptures. Don't play with those so-called familiars. We saw what happened to Saul. At the end of the war, Saul was pierced through. You know what I'm saying? And he basically committed suicide because he didn't want to be taken hostage and violated by these people. So, Babukasha, leave those familiar spirits alone. If somebody tells you, yo, you're gonna pray to Allah, get away. You're gonna pray to Erixus, get away. I'm not with that. All right?
Osiris, none of that.
None of that. You have something else to bring out before we close out, Lord?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 12:13.
Come.
Because it was a great class, though, Lord.
Throughout it, Lord, I try. Most High put me in the spirit. I thank Him more than anybody at this moment. You too, you know what I'm saying? You too. Most High, y'all shot first.
Come on the one.
Can you start at verse?
Then us.
Yeah, come on. Can you start at verse 12?
It's Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end. And much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man.
Good. This is our whole job. This is our whole job. You want something, you say, Most High, can you give me this, please? Baba Kasha, I need it. I need your help. Don't pray to no Lua. Don't pray to no Orixas, familiars, Osiris, especially not Diana or Artemis or any of those.
Or Caesar.
Or Caesar or Caesar Borgia or any candles with Caesar Borgia on them. Leave them alone. No, none of that. Because I think I broke it down as best as I could. So y'all could, when y'all hear these words, y'all get away or tell that person to stop that, give that up, give them a warning, blow the horn against what they're doing. Save their souls. If they don't want to stop, then the Most High is gonna take care of it from there. I've seen that personally myself. So with my own mother. So it's not a joyous thing to see. right? But with that, I thank y'all for coming. Take y'all time, and I appreciate y'all under the Most High in Christ. I hope y'all have a great rest of your night and a great Shabbat, and have a great rest of your week. Shalom.
And also, new moon coming up.
Come.
I mean, be prepared for that. I mean, after the what we got, what, 2 new moons, right? Then the tabernacles.
Mm. And in between that, we have Feast of Trumpets and Day of Atonement.
Day of Atonement. Gone. Yeah, so be prepared. You know what I mean? Everybody, I would suggest, start preparing your body for the Day of Atonement. You know what I mean? Like, if you can, once a week, go on a water fast or fruit fast. You know what I mean? Start preparing your body. So this way, when the Day of Atonement comes and you have to fast to atone for your sins,
it's easy. It's easier,
yeah,
not easy. It's easier.
it's easy. You know what I'm saying? As long as you stay prayed up, you know what I mean? Praying, fasting, you get through a lot of things. You know what I mean? And when you praying, when you starting to feel them pains or it's starting to go, you know what I mean, get a little rough, you know what I mean, open up your scriptures and, I mean, you'll see after a while you won't even be thinking about it. The sister said, what day is the Day of Atonement? Okay.
We'll convene. We'll convene and
next Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, and we'll have the answer to that.
I have the answer for the Day of Atonement, the morning blowing of trumpets, and Tabernacles.
Come on. Okay. So with that,
it's definitely in October.
With that, shalom. Have a nice night. And I wish you all of you in the chat and watching well, and many blessings from the Most High.
Shalom.
Shalom.